What's my name? Booby Mick Boob Face. What's your cat's name? Big Boob Face. And your cat is... My cat is what? Oh, a lady. Big Boob Face has been missing for a while now. She was an indoor cat, but had the tenacity of a wild cat on a mission, trying to leave whenever the door was open. Catios. Wait, what's this word? And playtime just wasn't enough for the little missus. I don't have a cat, so I don't know. There's like some cat lore here that's going over my head. I figured she'd come running if I left out some food by the porch. 3 days later, still no cat. I've tried everything I could think of. Asking around the neighborhood, putting up missing cat posters. Sadly, nothing came from my efforts. I couldn't search for her during the day since I had work keeping me occupied. Wish it was me. And there's only so many hours in an evening I could yell around the street looking for her. There was only one place left I can think of that she might have ran off to. The woods by my house, right across the street. I've definitely caught her eyeing the birds and the squirrels that ran alongside the perimeters from the front window, her teeth clicking in excitement. Okay. It's a weird way to, I don't know, describe your cat. I don't know. I was no outdoorsy person by any means. In fact, the thought of going in there scares me. But I had to find her, or at least try. I love that the cursor is a mushroom. And I like the little mushrooms on the text box. The first weekend that came around, I packed up some water, Big Boob Face's favorite treats, and a compass to be safe. I wasn't sure where to even begin looking for her, so I started walking in a straight line, calling out her name every few steps. Big Boob Face! Big Boob Face! Ooh. Sorry. Yep. It certainly didn't take long for me to realize I was way in over my head. Why did I think this was a good idea? Oh, this is beautiful. This is lovely. It was hard to find my bearings within the surrounding trees. I didn't want to admit I was lost, at least not yet. I could only squint down at my compass as the needle spun slowly. You bringing a compass with you? The woods outside your house? Where do you live? The woods outside my house are a block. And it's full of, like, garbage and homeless people. So it's rough. Pretty sure they weren't made to do that. Your compass is broken. Did I really bring a busted compass on my first venture out in these woods? Why do you have a compass if you're not an outdoorsy person? I'm finding the plot holes here. Just kidding. This is beautiful. I'm enjoying this. Figured that would just be my luck. The only thing risking my own safety was my own incompetence. I shook my head hastily. No. No time for negativity. Big Boob Face was out there somewhere, cold and lost and hungry. I had to keep going. It's been hours. I love that transition. That was beautiful. Oh my god. I'm so lost. I don't even know why I kept searching even after the moment I realized that. Why did I think this was a good idea? Hunger had been gnawing at my stomach for a while now, having missed breakfast and lunch altogether. Oh my god, she's gonna have to eat her cat. The heat and humidity from the afternoon sun was unbearable, but the cooling air did nothing to soothe me. Even if I were to head home, I couldn't even pinpoint where that was. How big are these woods? How far did you go, girl? What do people even do in this situation? I knew it was baseless optimism, but walking onwards was really the only thing I could think of to do. This is how people get lost in the woods for real. They just, like, lose sense of self and time and space. Fun fact. Surely I'll come across something familiar. I trudged on, my shoes carefully avoiding the tree roots intertwined across the forest floor. This is loud. Is this too loud? Floor is floor. Is this loud? Is this too loud? Floor is floor. I don't know. But in my weakened state, plus the approaching darkness, I found myself stumbling through the rough terrain. My feet hit something soft, jutting out of the ground. Oh my god, it's her cat. Ah! My hands shot out as I lost my balance. My feet clumsily tried to find perches as I wobbled backwards, arms flapping. Poof. Cough, cough. What? Oh, my shoe had landed smack dab in a circle of mushrooms, the brunt of it causing a wispy cloud to erupt from the cluster. Oh my god. She's gonna get poisoned. She's gonna take poison damage. Circle of mushrooms, what is that called? That's like a fairy circle or something? She found herself a fairy circle. I stuck my nose in my elbow to avoid breathing it in. I couldn't differentiate one tree leaf from another for the life of me, but I'm pretty sure humans aren't supposed to inhale whatever the hell this was. It smelled strongly of rotten wood and wet dirt, even as it cleared. Something shiny quickly caught my attention. I stooped down to pick it up, grasping under my breath. It was Big Boob Face's collar! Covered in whatever the hell those mushrooms released. Ooh. I looked around desperately for any signs of her. Big Boob Face? Big Boob Face! Psst, 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 psst. Psst, 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 psst. Psst, psst, psst. I coughed from inhaling some of the remaining dust floating in the air. I should really steer clear from this. Pocketing Big Boob Face's collar, I retreated carefully until I could breathe again. Stepping back, I could still smell it. It must have stuck to my hair. It must have stuck to my hair and clothes. A quick once over, confirming my suspicions with a slight cringe. A thin yet generous coating of it covered my sleeve and jeans. I leaned against a tree, dusting off my clothes in a naive attempt to get the dust and smell out, to no avail. If anything, it felt like I'm breathing more of it in. What used to be musty now turned sweet, and I found myself inhaling even deeper, trying to pinpoint the smell. Cucumbers? It smells like fresh cucumbers. A tingly feeling crept up my hands and neck, pinpricks spreading across my limbs as a strange heat reached my face. Why is I and my different color? I started to feel drunk and woozy. My senses were numb. It should freak me out, huh? It should freak me out. And yet, a strange comfort washed over me. I should lie down. Right now, in fact. My legs gave out from underneath me, my body toppling over at an awkward angle. I laid there. Oh, beautiful. I love this. I love this. I love this. And stared. And stared. And stared. It was nice here. A peaceful calm. The perfect place for a nap, even. Yes, girl. My eyes grew heavy as I swam in and out of consciousness. Yeah, a nap sounds really good right now. Oh, she's still napping. Oh, who's this? Question mark. Lots of critters passing through lately. Sorry this happened to you, little one. It could have been anyone, but it had to be you. Am I the cat now? Wait. A human? Oh, never mind. It was a good guess. How'd you end up all the way out here? Still breathing, too. Ah, jeez. I can't leave you here. What should I do? Ooh, I woke with a jolt. It was warm, but comfortably slow. I could feel the weight of a blanket on me as I tried to sit up. I couldn't move my body. My fingers twitched, uselessly desperately at my sides as my eyes darted around in panic. Glancing about, I could see the interior of a cabin, or at least the ceiling of one. I couldn't see much past the corner of my eyes. Where was I? How did I get here? A desperate feeling rose in my chest. I had to leave. Right now. This was wrong. 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 I wasn't meant to be here. I could hear the crackling of a fire nearby, like the source of warmth I had felt on waking up. I could also hear footsteps approaching. Pretend to be asleep, stay awake. Oh, this game has choices. I'm awake. Ooh. Hello. Ooh, what is this? Mushroom head? I fluttered my eyelids, straining to look at the person approaching. My eyes widened as I took in their appearance. Oh, what is this? Protrusions from their forehead, catching my attention. Not to mention the green skin. The stranger didn't sense my unease as I heaved a sigh of relief. You're awake. That's good. Very, very good. How are you feeling? I blinked. Oh. Sorry. I forgot about that. Here. The person held a cup to my lips, a strong, sweet smell coming from the rim. A gentle hand grabbed my chin to open my mouth. I couldn't even move to resist. Don't worry, it'll help you feel better. I promise. Drink up. I'm gonna sip my coffee because it's drink up time. Ugh, delicious. Ugh. As the liquid hit my tongue, all I could feel was a vague sense of heat. Oh, wow. As I kept drinking, taste and texture returned. The sweetness of berries and chamomile coating my taste buds. I could even detect a hint of mint. I lifted my head finally, hands fisting at my sides as I propped myself onto my elbows. The person kept a steady hand on my chin, careful not to pour in too much in case I choked. I finished every last drop, wiping my mouth with the back of my hand. I stared at my fingers, realizing I had full autonomy over my body again. Good as new. How you feeling? Better, thank you. The stranger laughed. Oh, look how cute. Where are we? Oh, I like the way you sound. Been ages since I talked to anyone, much less with a voice as nice as yours. I brushed off their strange compliment, finally looking around the cabin properly. It was a simple room filled with sparse but decorated wooden furniture, fit for someone living alone. An open archway to the right led to what I assumed was the kitchen. Next to it, a door was closed shut, possibly the bathroom. Taking it in, there was common theme of knitted decorations strewn about. Any available surface had patterned knitted tablecloths covering it. Grandma core. No, I like knit stuff. An unfinished project laid beside the bedside table where I sat, a pair of knitting needles jutting out of a pile of yarn from a small basket. As far as I could tell, it looked like the beginnings of a green scarf. The stranger was comfortable in staying silent, observing me as I glanced around. They tossed their hat onto the bed, scruffing their hair, making it even messier. With their hat off, their unique features were impossible to ignore. I kind of regret naming my character that. I don't know what I thought. I panicked. Sorry, but what are you? Oh, I didn't introduce myself, did I? Can I name him? Hi, I'm Michael with a Y. I shook my head. No, I meant that, Michael stared at me, their left ear twitching. You look very, he snorted. Ugly? Off-putting? No, just different. Different, huh? You're just being nice. Well, then explain yourself. I mean, that's kind of rude, isn't it? Yeah, booby McBoobface, you're crossing the line here. I paused for a moment before pinching my nose bridge, exhaling slowly. I'm just sorry. It's been a long day is all. I should be thanking you. Girl, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? I thought this was supposed to be a spooky game. TBH. But maybe it will be. I don't know. If it helps, it's a skin condition. Oh, interesting. Is that what you humans call them? The way they said it didn't sound confident. And the ears? Genetics? Right. And I assume I wave vaguely at their horns? Antennae? Those things are just cosplay to complete the look? What? Would that make a convincing argument? I squinted. Maybe. Then yeah, it's cosplay. Ooh, blue tongue. Blep. Little blep. Still doesn't explain everything. Michael huffed a nervous laugh. Listen, I'm just a guy living by himself in the woods. You don't need to worry yourself further than that, okay? Something in his tone compelled you. Oh, when it says this, does it mean me? No, I don't know. Something in his tone compelled you not to question his existence anymore. He's just some guy. It's just some guy. It's like any guy. It's just some guy. Living in the woods. Completely normal. Right. Completely normal. I'm Booby McBoobface. Michael beamed. Nice to meet you, Booby McBoobface. I fiddled with the blankets as Michael scooted closer from the edge of the bed. I know I already asked, but how are you feeling? Any aches, sores, nausea? Intrusive thoughts, weird impulses, fever, maybe? Oh, what? He placed his hand on my forehead before I could react. His hands were calloused, quickly retracting as he gave a thoughtful hum. You seem to be lucid. That's a good sign, is it? Great. He hummed absently, his twitching ear reminding me of a perturbed cat. Cat? My cat! Oh, shoot. Sorry if this is out of nowhere, but have you seen a cat around these parts? Her name's Big Boobface. She's a sweet little thing, about this big, skittish, but she can approach strangers if she needs to. I pulled out my phone to show pictures of her, only to find it missing from my back pocket. Wait, where is it? I haven't... Huh? Your cat. I haven't seen it. Oh, I see. I slumped against the pillows, rubbing at my temples. She lost her collar, too. Even if anyone finds her, they wouldn't be able to tell where she's from. Damn it. Michael stayed quiet, watching me from the side of the bed. You came all this way out here for a cat? Huh? Of course. To the point where you're willing to run yourself ragged this deep into the forest? For a cat? Do you realize how far you've wandered away from the nearest town? I found you near unconscious, in an area nobody's set foot in for years. For a cat? He sounded like he was holding himself back from giving me a stern lecture, as if in disbelief. I had such little regard to my own survival. My cheeks grew heated at how stupid, reckless that sounds. I mean, she's not just a cat, she's my family. I know it was stupid for even trying, but I had to. Michael eased up, shoulders tense as he looked me over from underneath his unruly bangs. Family, huh? Takes a drag from a cigarette. Family, huh? I haven't had a family in years. He finally tipped his head at me with a smile. You're willing to wander this far for such a small critter? I've met my fair share of lost campers, hunters, and a few runaway teens or two. But someone looking for their pet? You're kind of weird, aren't you? You're just like you're not like other girls. You're just like kind of silly. I think I'm a girl. I don't actually, did I choose that? I don't know. You're kind of weird, aren't you? I sputtered, much to his amusement. Speak for yourself. Who cosplays in the middle of the woods? Michael laughed, a deep, hearty one resonating from his chest. Fair. I think I'm starting to like you, Booby McBoobface. Likewise? Oh, his smile widened, but something about it was off. He was showing too much teeth. It felt like he hadn't talked to someone in a real long time and forgot how to smile the right amount. Okay, judgy. I rubbed my neck, trying to think of something else to say. Can I ask, how did I get here? Oh, like I said, I found you in the woods, not far from here. Oh, geez, really? I knew I was tired, but I couldn't have possibly... Huh? I did step in something important. Familiar pinpricks crept up my skin. Home. I need to go home. Michael stiffened as he grabbed my shoulder. Okay, I and home were highlighted in that one, so I don't know. Never mind that. You'd fallen unconscious from heat stroke. Heat stroke? No, this wasn't what happened. I was fine up until... Michael shook his head insistently, leaning close. No, Firefly, you weren't fine at all. If I hadn't found you when I did, well, who knows what could have happened. You could have gotten injured or attacked by a wild animal. There's danger in these woods, you know. No, he was right. You had been so foolish. Okay, is this game gaslighting me? Well, I guess I was being foolish. Okay. How did you think you could do this on your own, searching for your cat in the middle of the woods? And to go in without bringing any water? Yeah, you dumbass. Passing out from heat stroke of all things? How could you have been so stupid? I shook my head, brain too foggy to pick apart my thoughts. He sounded confident, so why should you doubt him? Well, if it means anything, I'm glad you were there. Michael relaxed, hand on his lap once more. He grinned at me. So am I, Booby McBoobface. I'm definitely glad I found you. His eyes were hidden fully behind his unruly hair. I couldn't help feeling how intensely they were fixated on me as he said that. The hairs on the back of my neck stood. Sure. Without a distraction, I only just realized how uncomfortable I was sitting still. The blanket on me was starting to itch, just as the desperate need to get home began to rise in me again. This was interesting, but I should really get going now. Wait! My host jumped up from the bed before I could. I mean, you can't. I can't just let you wander around the woods this late. Please stay a bit longer. But Michael, oh, come. He grabbed my hand and led me across the room. Whoosh! We stepped into the kitchen. A fragrant smell of cooked potatoes and meat hanging in the air. 2 plates had been set out on a small circular table, complete with utensils and mugs of tea. I wasn't expecting guests today, so the food is nothing fancy. But join me for dinner? He looked so hopeful, ears drooping. You'd feel so bad if you had to say no. Shit. Okay. Michael's jaw dropped for a few seconds before he quickly recovered. Yes, of course. Here, come sit. I'll serve up the cottage pie in a minute. What's cottage pie? I sat as instructed, my stomach rumbling, something fierce as the smell was the only thing I can focus on. Yeah, this was definitely the right choice. What was so important that you had to leave so soon? The outside world can wait. You can stay here. Is this like what's it, Stockholm syndrome sort of thing? Sort of dealio. Bluebeard type shit. You could stay here and enjoy my company. Oh, actually, I should ask, are you okay with meat for dinner? I can make something else for you that's not your preference. Maybe, okay, here's my working theory presently is that when it goes to like the text box that's like no name and has like the highlighted things, like maybe that's him like in my brain like convincing me of things. That's the theory. I'll eat meat. You know what I mean? Okay, you'll be having the same dinner as me then. Michael pattered about the small kitchen with an almost giddy excitement. He put a pair of knitted oven mitts, humming as he stooped down and pulled out a steaming tray of pie from the wood stove. It's my cat! I'm gonna eat the cat! I'm gonna eat the cat! The smell filled out the kitchen in an instant as he brought it to the table, my stomach rumbling louder in response. I'm pretty sure Michael could hear it, but he just smiled as he served up our portions. He discreetly cut me a bigger piece, which I was grateful for. Ooh, it looks so good. The crust was a nice golden color, streaked with crisp lines and garnish. The meat and veggies filling looked absolutely delectable, the savory sauce leaking onto the plate. My mouth was watering, unsurprising, considering the fact I haven't eaten all day. Careful now, it's still hot. It was fair advice, but I didn't wait more than 2 blows before biting into my first forkful. Ah! It was definitely way too hot to eat straight from the oven. Michael kept a polite expression, the corner of his mouth lifting as I panted with the pieces still in my mouth. He gave me a few seconds to recover, elbow planted on the table. Is it good? I nodded vigorously, even though my buds were burning. Mm-hmm. I couldn't taste anything. He laughed. It's usually better on the second bite. I slowed down, hand on my mouth as Michael poked his fork into his own slice. I tentatively blew on the pie to make sure it was cool before taking another bite. He was right. The second bite was a lot better. The seasoned potato crust was nice and crisp on top, cheesy and creamy in the middle. The savory meat filling was well cooked and bursting with flavor. Every bite felt like home. Aw, that was a nice line. Every bite felt like home. Oh my god, this is Stockholm Syndrome. My host watched me enjoying the meal from across the table. Do you like it? Yeah, this tastes amazing, Michael. He flushed from the compliment, rubbing the back of his neck. I'm glad. I like to think of myself as a decent cook, but I've never been able to get anyone else's opinion on that. Do you like baking in particular? Not always. I usually go for simple dishes with any ingredients available. I nodded amicably. I nodded, though didn't say much else. I was more focused on scarfing down dinner, which thankfully Michael didn't seem to mind. The overall atmosphere was nice and homely. I could hear Michael tapping his feet from underneath the table. I guess he was that happy to have someone stay for dinner. It didn't seem like he lived alone, judging from the surrounding in his cabin. So, I'm kind of curious. He perked up instantly, his focus solely on me. What made you want to live all the way out here? Oh, well, you look like me. When you look like me, it's kind of easier to just live out of sight from everyone else. A pang of guilt shot through my chest. I was giving him a hard time about how he looked too. He must have sensed it clear as day on my face. Not that you're one of them. You've actually been nicer than most. Though I wonder if... His smile turned strained. Never mind. My point is, it's better here than anywhere else. Why don't you try the tea, Firefly? Okay. He seemed uncomfortable now, easing into a different topic. It's probably best to follow along. Oh, sure. I reached out towards my mug, only to push it off the edge with my clumsy fingers. Wait. I bent over the side to grab it, fully expecting it to fall just out of reach and land on the floor into broken pieces. It never did. Yeah. Instead, a long green appendage was twisted around the ceramic mug, secretly keeping it in place. Not even a drop had fallen out. And it wasn't his tail. Anyways, my eyes trailed along the length of it until I pinpointed it that it came from behind Michael, the rest of it partially hidden beneath his cardigan. Michael? Is that yours? Michael buried his face in his hands, the strange appendage from before lowered to the side, mug in tow. I'm sorry, Booby McBoobface. I think it's time I was honest. Oh, ooh, hello. He lifted his head, fingers carding his hair back to reveal his eyes. I froze as multiple pairs of irises stared right into mine before darting to the side and avoiding my gaze. I know, it's a lot to take in, but this is who I really am. Please don't be scared. Freak out, remain calm. Oh man. Okay, so this is like a point in these games where like I want to do this option, but it's like just to see, just to know. But like, what is that gonna do? What is it gonna do? I swallowed audibly, willing myself to not look away. He seemed to be holding his breath as I gripped the edge of the table. Okay, girl. Okay, first of all, like, really, is this freaking you out? You met this green man in the woods with mushroom horns, and you're like, now you're gonna decide to freak out? Like, you're gonna remain calm. Like, that's... Anyways, that's my 2 cents. He seemed to be holding his breath as I gripped the edge of the table. I felt unsettling every time he blinked those eyes in succession, even when he wasn't looking at me. Was it real? It had to be. Everything about him suddenly made so much more sense. The isolation, the avoidant behavior. He looked freaky, yeah, but he also looked sad. I swallowed thickly. I'm not scared. Michael's many pupils flew wide, dilating like an excited wildcat. It sent a shiver up my spine. Okay, maybe just a little bit scared. Maybe just like a little bit. Sorry. He hastily grabbed an empty plate and hid behind it, shoulders scrunched up despite his stature. Would it help if I just hide it? I could fix my hair like before, if that's what you prefer. His voice was muffled behind the ceramic barrier between us. It was kind of endearing. I slowly reached out to touch his hand, the slight brush of my fingertips making him jump in place. Michael? Yeah? Can you put that down? He slowly lowered the plate. His eyes were still darting to the side, avoiding me. Can you look at me? Don't look at me like that. Sorry, I just can't stop looking. This was so awkward. His hands were shaking. I looked down at the mug still floating next to him, hanging on for dear life. I reached over and plucked it straight out of his grasp. Nani? I tentatively took a sip, noticing how Michael was watching me over the rim of the mug. This is okay. The taste was mildly spicy, with an almost earthly bite to it. I recognized it instantly as ginger tea. It's almost room temperature, but it's still pretty good. Huh? You wanted me to try the tea, right? I like it, so thank you. Oh, I'm glad. Michael relaxed back into his seat, following my lead as I picked up my fork once more. The silence didn't last long as Michael fidgeted. Are you really okay with this? With me? I gave him a once-over, really taking in his features. It's very different than what I'm used to, but I think I can learn to like it. Is that weird to say? I mean, you're not bad to look at. Oh my god. It's actually kind of a... damn it. What do I say? Pretty cool, hot. Okay, yep. It'd take me a fucking second to decide. Hot? Nani? You're not referring to the temperature, are you? No, I'm not. Oh. He looked confused but seemed embarrassed anyway. My point is, your appearance shouldn't matter. You've been nothing but kind to me so far. I'd be the worst kind of person to judge someone based on how they look. I haven't known you that long, but you seem like a good person. We don't know what I look like. We don't know what Booby McBoobface looks like. For all we know, Booby McBoobface could be like fucking, I don't know, the same but different, same but different. I know he said, oh, you're a human, but like, we could be like, what is a human in this world? Maybe I'm looking too much into it and thinking too much about it, but... yeah, I don't know. I haven't known you that long, but you seem like a good person. You're fine, Michael. I smiled at him. We're fine. I see. He fidgeted some more before nodding, smiling a bit. Thanks, Booby McBoobface. I'll cherish this moment forever. Aw. He beamed at me as he enthusiastically went back to eating his food. That was something. We continued with a bit of small talk, mostly stories about big boob face or snippets from my personal life. This is cute. Michael hung onto every word as I said, not bothering to elaborate much. Michael hung onto every word I said, not bothering to elaborate much about himself despite my burning curiosity. I could tell he was extremely insecure about his appearance, so it's probably best I kept my questions to myself tonight. Oh my god, he listens, and he's insecure, and he knows how to cook, and he like takes care of me. Why would I ever leave? We cleared up the kitchen in relative silence, Michael storing away the rest of the pie as I washed the dishes by the sink. Being out here in this remote cabin, I wondered how he had running water. Girl, you can get running water from many places. You just have to be by a source of water. Maybe I'll ask him later. So, thanks for dinner. Thanks for the company. Oh, and please, take the bed tonight. But, you're my guest, and I'm the host. Take the bed, okay? All right. I'll be out of your hair first thing in the morning. Michael got quiet, staring at the floorboards. With his hair out of the way, I could finally read his expressions. He did seem upset. Is that okay? I do need your help, though. I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna get lost again on my own. His tail flicked behind him. Yeah, I'll bring you home tomorrow morning. I heaved a sigh of relief. Thanks, Michael. I'll see you in the morning. Yeah. Good night, Booby McBoobface. Good night, Michael. He seemed really happy being able to say that. I plopped myself down onto Michael's bed, getting comfy beneath the blanket. Michael was gathering some blankets of his own to make a makeshift bed on the floor in front of the fire. He had an impressive collection of knitted items, a comfortable nest forming in the center of the room. My eyes trailed after his tail, now out in the open as it flicked and swayed. Kind of like a cat. I miss Big Boob Face. Now with a full stomach, dozing off came easy. I didn't even realize how tired I was. I listened to the gentle cracking of the fire, my vision darkening. Oh! Good night, booby McBoobface. A soft humming invaded my dreams, stirring me awake. I blinked, my eyes opened to unfamiliar surrounding, swaddled in a blanket that clearly wasn't mine. Where? Oh, I spotted the familiar figure of my host seated on a stool in front of the fire, hands deftly working on the green scarf bundled in his lap. His back was towards me, but I caught glimpses of his fingers as the needle softly clicked between the yarn. He looked incredibly adept at using them, the rhythmic movements, almost hypnotic as the fibers wound together in an intricate pattern. I slowly stirred into a sitting position, rubbing my eyes. The movement quickly caught his attention, ear flicking in my direction before his eyes trained onto me. Just like last night, his pupils blew up as we made eye contact. His expression lit up the instant he saw me. Booby McBoobface, hey, glad you're finally awake. You look so tired. I didn't want to disturb you until you've gotten enough rest. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Booby McBoobface. Did you sleep well? I was still too groggy to answer his question. A yawn slipped out as I stretched. He smiled kindly, a soft chuckle under his breath. Like a baby, then. He pointed over his shoulder to the door beside the fireplace, tilting his head towards it. You can freshen up in the bathroom if you'd like, while I start on making us some food. I hadn't eaten breakfast. I have eaten breakfast by now, but I'd want you to join me while the food is still hot. How do you eggs and toast sound? Good. I literally had eggs and toast this morning. Oh my god, this story is about me. Great. I'll see you in the kitchen then. He tucked away his knitting materials and set it aside. Oh, I also have a surprise for you after breakfast. Is it my cat? It's not the most exciting surprise, but just join me when you're ready. He ducked into the kitchen without another glance. I could hear his boots thud about the floorboards, cabinets opening and closing in succession in the kitchen. I suppose that's my cue. I rolled out of bed, leaving the warmth of Michael's blankets, and trotted over to the door Michael pointed out. Cute! Stepping inside, I didn't know what I was expecting when he said he had a bathroom, but it was surprisingly spacious. Everything looked like it was carved and polished out of wood. He seemed to have everything you find in a modern bathroom: a sink, cabinet, shower, tub, and even a toilet. Curious, I crept over to the toilet in particular, inspecting it. There wasn't a tank like you'd expect where the water would be stored. Instead, there was a compartment to the side full of sawdust and a scoop. I expected it to have at least a bit of smell, but it was surprisingly odorless. There was even a roll of toilet paper on the side. Where'd he get that? It was no flushing system, but it was hygienic. Michael must have done his research. Walking over to the sink, I stared at the faucet before hesitantly twisting it. I jumped when I heard the rush of water pouring in, swirling in the basin before disappearing to who knows where. Wow. Why am I impressed by a damn functioning bathroom sink? I helped with the dishes last night. I already knew Michael had plumbing. Shaking my head, I finished freshening up and headed to the kitchen. Michael looked up as I entered, a steaming kettle in his hand with 2 empty mugs on the counter. It might have been the lighting, but he was taller than I remembered. Glancing to the table, I could see he already finished plating up our food. Oh, wow. You work fast. Michael looked proud of himself. Can't have my guests stay on an empty stomach. Go on, have a seat. I'll join you in a moment. I returned to smile and sat down, stomach grumbling as I looked at our plates. Oh, shit. Once again, Michael was generous with the serving sizes. Fat slices of bread were toasted perfectly with crisp buttered sides, bright red tomato slices, and crisp salad peeking underneath the fluffy eggs. It looked amazingly tantalizing, the smell of savory herbs wafting my nose. My mouth watered. Michael set down a steaming mug beside me before settling into his own seat. Peeking above the rim, I could see small flowers floating about, tinting the water yellow. It faintly smelled of apples. Oh my god, what can't he do? I recognized the yellow dried pellets on tea packaging I've seen before. Oh, chamomile. He nodded. I hope you like it. I'm sure I will. His smile widened, his tail swaying at the tip by his feet. He seemed more relaxed, showing his natural features this morning. Any trace of panic and hesitation from last night were gone, replaced by a look of contentment. Michael bit into his toast, and I followed suit. The food was as delicious as I expected. The chunk of toast I bit into was heavenly, the butter sweet on my tongue. The tomato and salad provided a nice, crisp balance. And the eggs? Something about simple home-cooked food is just the best. Michael was happy to eat in silence, occasionally looking up at me as I enjoyed my food. He'd smile when our eyes met, his bottom pair narrowing into a happy squint. I wonder if he'd be open to some questions. Hey! Do you mind if I ask? How'd you learn to cook? How do you have plumbing in your house? What's it like? These are boring questions. I know it's a silly question, but I can't stop thinking about it. Oh, you were wondering about that? The embarrassed look on my face is probably enough of an answer. Well, it's nothing fascinating. It's just rainwater. I've got stored above the cabin. Just rainwater? He nodded. I detected a hint of pride as he continued. It's actually a recent installment, believe it or not. Granted, the project took a while, gathering materials, figuring out the tools, finding the right instruction manuals. Plus, I had to figure out where to store the water tank. Okay, this is boring. And don't worry, I installed a filtration system so it's safe for us to use. I checked in every few weeks to make sure nothing's contaminated. Oh my god, my cat's gonna be dead in the water. I'm gonna get sick. My cat is dead in the water. That sounded daunting, especially considering he lived all the way out here in the woods. You did all that on your own? I kind of had to. Anyways, it took a whole lot of calibrating and adjusting, but it really worked out. And now that I think about it, I'm glad you get to be comfortable here during your stay too. Does that answer your question? Where'd you learn how to do all that? I had to figure out a lot of things on my own. There was a faint hint of exhaustion in his eyes. But to answer your question, I go to libraries a lot. It's where I learned about a majority of things. The fact that he even ventured into buildings at all already surprised me. And if I'm real lucky, they have all of those neat DIYs and workshop manuals archived for anyone to browse through. It took a while to figure everything out. A really long time, actually. But hey, I had nothing but time. How old are you? How old are you? And it paid off. I'm considering upgrading the toilet next, but for now, the composting setup works fine. Learned about that in an old camping guide. He paused to take a breath as if he hadn't talked this much in a while. I'm rambling, but that's how I did it. Is there anything else you wanted to ask? Wait, you go to libraries? His ears perked up, posture straightening. Oh, yeah. I can't tell you enough how much books have helped me. I've made it this far only because I quickly figured out how to read. Well, figured out that I can read. What does that mean? Do you visit often? In my early days, any chance I could get. Nowadays, I stick to my side of the forest, though. Gotta make sure people don't wander too far off than they're meant to. What does that mean? I paused in my chewing at the teasing lilt in his voice. Hey! I'm joking. Anyways, if you're wondering what I do about this, he gestured towards his face. I just have to make sure everything's covered You'd be surprised how little people pay attention to me when I bundle up just right. Do people not give you trouble? He shrugged nonchalantly. Small town libraries are usually so empty from my experience, and people just mind their own business there. Are you kidding? Small town people do anything but mind their own goddamn business. Huh, I guess that's true. I can't remember the last time I visited a library. I guess libraries would be Michael's equivalent to the World Wide Web. I should introduce him to the internet someday. Actually, maybe not. Not without parental controls. Finally satisfied, I nodded and went back to eating my food. How did you learn to cook? What's it like living? Oh, man. What's it like living in the woods? I still can't believe how cozy you've managed to make it, considering the whole middle of nowhere thing. It isn't like this when I found it. Found it? No. It was a major fix-her-up-her. So the cabin was abandoned? I never would have guessed. Yeah, I'm really happy I get to live somewhere permanent for once. It's not much, but it's home. What do you mean permanent for once? Where are you from? What? These aren't the questions I want to be asking. I don't care about your cabin. What's it like? Peaceful, quiet. I do like it a lot. The forest provides me with everything I need. And nobody bothers me for the way I look out here. His ears twitched slightly. Sometimes you just happen to end up where it's most convenient for you and everyone else. The way he avoided my eyes as he said that gave me the impression there's something more to it. Like his home wasn't just out of convenience, but a fear of something else. Rejection, perhaps? Or something worse. Anyways, I don't really have anything else to say about it unless there's something specific you want to ask. He doesn't think about his answer much before beaming at me. What about you? I know you've told me a little about yourself, but what's it like being you? I scoffed, waving a hand. Please, I'm the least interesting person in the room, trust me. His eyes were shining in earnest as he leaned forward. Tell me anyway. Oh, well, I told him about my life, at least the parts I was comfortable with sharing. Just like last night, his eyes didn't leave my face, occasionally darting about my features and interest. The direct ogling was making me nervous, but I suppose I was doing the exact same thing when it was his turn to talk. Eventually, I came to the topic of my job and the woes of living in modern capitalism. I'm a bit jealous. You have the whole cottagecore aesthetic practically perfect. Oh my god, he's cottagecore. His face morphed into a confused pout. Cottagecore? I explained it to him in my own words. Oh, you're saying you want to live the way I do? Out in the woods? Oh! I nodded without hesitation. Oh my god, he's gonna capture you, girl. I mean, I wouldn't mind showing you the ropes. His tone seemed strangely lilted. What do you mean? Never mind. Anyways, I don't get what the appeal is, but it's not easy either, you know. The forest provides, but it's up to me to make use of it. Starting out was a dark look crossed over his face, then as if reliving a bitter memory. Rough. But I'm built for survival. I feel like asking him to elaborate would make things awkward. I decided to veer the topic into a different direction. Does it get lonely? Sometimes, but I'm used to it. He smiled, his eyes lighting up. Besides, I have you at the moment, don't I? I have you. I have you. I never thought I'd enjoy having someone around. You must be really special. How did you learn to cook? I cooked cats. Oh, shit. I gotta pause for a sec. Finally got an email about something. Is today Thursday? Today's Wednesday. Oh, I don't have to respond. Okay. Okay. Cottage pie is a pretty complicated recipe. I just wonder if anyone taught you how to cook. I'd be lucky if someone could teach me how to make boiled eggs, Firefly. Huh? But it was trial and error mostly. My earlier endeavors were, pretty much inedible. I picked up a thing or two about cooking, though, so your taste buds aren't gonna fall victim to any nasty creations, like in my early days, at least. Speaking of, did you enjoy your dinner last night? Of course I did. You're a real good cook, Michael. I'm glad. It probably wasn't obvious, but I'm really happy I got to cook for you. I don't get guests often, in case you couldn't tell. I should ask you to cook for me every day then. He grinned at my joke, looking pleased. I'd be happy to. I chuckled as I took another bite. So what's your favorite thing to cook? Oh my god, okay, could this end? He lit up at the question. Fried mushrooms. Oh my god, mushrooms? Yeah. There's plenty to find, and it's easy to make. Huh. I do remember finding a patch of mushrooms yesterday. Also, you are mushroom? Is this not supposed to be mushroom? Anyways. I do remember finding a patch of mushrooms yesterday. They smelled pretty funky, though. You remember that? Huh? What was that? Nothing. Anyways, mushrooms were the only thing I had for a while before figuring out I could eat other stuff like roots and veggies. Do you forage all your ingredients? Mostly. The times I figured out how to catch fish and hunt game were the best of my life, I'll tell you that. My first taste of meat. He did an awkward version of a chef's kiss, as if mimicking something he saw on television once. Mamma mia. Was he trying to say Mamma Mia? He continued before I can even dwell on it for a second longer. But nothing beats what you humans are able to make. You guys go nuts with ingredients. Rice was a challenge. It's a precious ingredient since I have to actually get some from a store, but once I figured out how to make it, it's nice and fluffy. I consider it a special treat. I did a double take. You go to the store? Yeah. Where else would I get it? I thought you would grow it yourself or something. He laughed as I flushed in embarrassment. It's flattering you think I'm even capable of something that impressive, but no. There's only so much the forest can provide. But what about money? We're talking about human currency, right? Otherwise, how would you even... Do you actually have a job? A thought occurred to me. Or did you steal it? He almost looked offended. Do you take me for a criminal? No. But that would mean... Then how? Michael bit into his toast, his two eyes winking in mischief. I have my ways, Firefly. What's that supposed to mean? I'm starting to know a lot more about Michael. He didn't directly say it, but it felt like he was lonelier than he was letting on. Not to mention how he managed to make a home for himself, all on his own. I had to wonder if he had anyone at all. Do you have any family around? Family? Family? His expression turned solemn for a moment before he looked sheepish. Oh my god. No messages. Remind me how... Okay, no, I should probably reply. Okay. Business. What did he say? Remind me how that works again. Oh, I don't remember what he asked. I get the concept, but... Oh, money? Is he asking about money? Or jobs? I don't remember. Oh, family. Okay, sorry. I get the concept based on some books I've read. I don't have what you call parents, if that's what you're asking. My mouth dropped open in shock. No parents? He shrugged and took another bite of toast. Not that I recall. Then how... Oh, What's that like, living with so many people like you in such close proximity? Huh? That's how it works, right? You and other humans living in one house, and you have this DNA that makes you relate to the rest. That's what makes a family, right? Was he talking about DNA? His definition threw me off, but I had to answer somehow. No, not just that. Family is, oh God, people you're related to, like your mom and dad and your siblings and relatives, people that you love and care about, who love and care about you too. Actually, I guess there are just people you live in close proximity to, whether by choice or not. I want to say this one. But then, but this one, he literally said he doesn't have parents. So maybe this one. He seemed intrigued. Is that so? That does sound nice. Is there anyone that you love and care about? Of course I do. I have a family. Yeah, I love my friends. I said I have a family. Heck, I even call my cat family. Ah, right. Obviously. And this is the same for all families? I bit my lip pondering the question. It would be naive to think that. A lot of families do love and take care of one another, but not everything's perfect. Sometimes that love can be misplaced or taken advantage of or even abused. Michael looked thoughtful. So it starts with love? I've read some stories about that. Love, I mean. Though certain feelings just don't make sense to me, at least from a reader's perspective. I guess you'd have to experience it for yourself to understand. He stared at me, unblinking for a moment. Yeah, you might be right. I never considered that. Then again, who would bother loving a monster like me, huh? What? You're not a monster? I look like one, don't I? That's besides the point. You're not denying it, though. I'm just saying, it's okay. You don't have to lie to me. So, family, right? To be fair, everyone's definition of family could be different. What about you? What's your definition of family? Michael looked surprised. I asked him like that question. I don't know. I never had one, and I think your answer just confused me more. Well, if you ever figure it out, let me know. Michael stared at the remaining crumbs on his plate before he nodded, avoiding my gaze. Sure. We both fell quiet, the lull in conversation blanketing us in a comfortable silence. All this family talk, it reminded me of the reason why I'm out here in the first place. To look for my beloved cat, a sight I might never be able to see again. I couldn't help the sinking feeling in my chest, the growing pit in my stomach. I wish I was able to find Big Boob Face. You would have loved her. Michael opened his mouth to say something, but changed his mind. We ate her last night. My voice warbled as a lump formed in my throat. Sorry. I just miss her so much. I keep thinking if I just went looking for her sooner, maybe I would have been able to find her by now. He was quick to speak up. You did your best, Firefly. No one else could have gone to the lengths that you did. You almost risked getting yourself. I'm sure wherever she is, she's doing okay. You really think so? I know so. His voice was laced with a confident assurance, despite the worried look on his face. I nodded with a quiet sniff. I hope so. She's just important to me is all. Michael looked like he wanted to reach across the table for me, but sighed instead. Actually, we ate her last night. I'm sorry, Booby McBoobface. I should tell you. Maybe I do have family now that I think about it. Okay, Deek. That was the surprise I mentioned before. Wait, really? He nodded. Are you done? I could take you to go meet them right now. I looked down at my plate. During the conversation, I didn't even realize I finished the meal. Yeah, I'm done. His movements were quick, stacking our empty plates and mugs and setting them in the sink. He grasped my hand before I could say another word, pulling me up and heading outside with me in tow. As the door swung open, I could only see forest ahead before he tugged me along as he rounded the side of the cabin. Almost immediately, my peripherals were assaulted with greens on both sides. I figured he was the type to grow his own vegetables, but to see it in person as confirmation was a whole different thing. With Michael leading the way, I only had a moment to take in the surrounding garden. He had marked the different plots with messy drawings on small wooden signs jutting out of the dirt. Carrots, lettuce, potatoes, trestles of tomatoes, and beans. I wouldn't have been able to differentiate one plant to another without the signs. Even the chamomile from our tea just now grew abundant close by, the small buds swaying gently. I bumped into Michael as he suddenly stopped, the man looking over his shoulder to beam at me. We reached what looked like a fenced-off area with a bit of netting stretching all around. He stepped aside, watching me as my eyes widened. Chickens! Is that a chicken? 3 fat, happy little hens strutted about like they owned the place. As he entered through the gate, the hens swarmed over in an instant at Michael's feet, circling him and pecking at his boots. Ladies, meet Booby McBoobface. Booby McBoobface, these are Mauer, Sensuya, and Primrose. Or as I like to call them, Marmar, Sunny, and Rosie. Why don't you just call them that then? He ducked to pick one up, fluffing up her feathers as he smiled. He gently scratched the hen's little head, which I assumed was Rosie. She practically melted at his pampering, eyes sliding shut. Aw, you're a chicken. The other 2 flapped their wings in a huff and went about their business once more. Michael leaned closer, beckoning me to pet Rosie. She was soft. Rosie's the oldest. She doesn't lay eggs anymore, but I couldn't bring myself to, Aww. So I brought her some friends. Marmar came first. Sunny's a more recent addition. What do you think? Do we make a good family? Aww. This is happy story. Where's my cat? I laughed and nodded, watching as Rosie nuzzled into Michael's chest. I didn't expect chickens, of all things. Were you expecting something else? I was expecting it to be someone else. Oh. No. When you look like me, people generally don't stick around. There's that negative self-talk again. You don't even look that bad. Okay, that's not really a compliment. His eyes flickered to mine, a look of pleasant surprise crossing his face. You really think so? Yeah? You can't be that naive, Firefly. I mean it. He let out a polite scoff as he scratched Rosie's head absently. You genuinely believe people wouldn't run away at the sight of me? Well, I didn't. His smile turned smug, the corner of his lips lifting just a bit. Of course you didn't. Because you couldn't. Shoot. What does that mean? Oh, because I was paralyzed. He wasn't wrong. I was pretty much paralyzed in his bed when we first met, but I still don't think you look that bad. Is that so? Describe me then. Ah, God. What? You heard me. Look at me and describe what you see. For a second, I thought he was being condescending, but looking at his eyes, all I could see was a bit of playfulness. He looked at me expectantly, eyes shining. You're tall? Go on. You have blonde hair? He gave an amused squint, his left ears twitching. What else? You have green skin and a tail. He chuckled, though there was no malice in it. But that's not all, is it? He definitely expected me to say it straight. Oh, fine. So you don't look human. So what? He hummed absently. As I was saying, animals generally don't care if you look like a monster. My heart twisted at his words. His passive nonchalance somehow makes it even worse. Michael, you're not a monster. A tug at my shoelace caught my attention. Is it my cat? Oh. Aww. A light brown head stood at my feet, her beady eyes shining. Sunny flapped her wings almost expectantly. Oh, I think she likes you. Go ahead, pick her up gently, like how I did with Rosie. I hesitated, but slowly lowered myself to cup Sunny by her wings. Lifting her up, she was quick to nestle herself until she was comfortably tucked under my arms. I could feel her wings wiggling as she nuzzled into my side. So, cute! Michael's gaze softened as I cooed at the chicken, mimicking her small clucks. So, did it help? Cheering you up, I mean? Oh, so that's what this was. A fuzzy feeling bloomed in my chest as he looked at me, chicken in his arms and concern on his face. A little bit, yeah. Only a little? I snickered, rolling my eyes. Okay, mister, a lot. That's more like it. His proud grin was infectious. I couldn't help smiling back. We spent a bit more time with the hens, petting them until they were satisfied. Michael even showed me the spot where they'd like to have their dust baths. Little chicken-shaped holes scattered about in the dry soil underneath the coop. Once the gals had enough of us, refilled their water container before leaving. He left them some treats, procuring them straight out of his pockets before shutting the gate. The girls' excited chatter over the food faded as we made our way back inside his cabin. I sat by his bed as he crouched down by the fireplace. From the window, I could see the sun outside was getting higher. It might be close to afternoon now. Hey, Michael? He looked up at me from where he was stoking the fire. I rubbed my arms, unsure where to place my gaze. I think it's a good time for me to go now. My expression fell, but I caught myself quickly. He'd done his best to cheer me up. It'll be inconsiderate towards him to leave in a bad mood. I might have to accept that I'll never see Big Boob Face again. I think it's better if I focus on moving on. He was quiet for a moment, hands in his pockets. If you say so, but you don't have to leave just yet. We still got plenty of daylight left, and there's some places I want to show you. Will you come with me? I had to decide. I promise I'll take you home right after. He took another step towards me. I was going to say no. I was going to be like, I gotta get home. Please, Firefly. I didn't want to say it, but he looked desperate. Okay. I'll go with you. The joy on his face was shining bright as a billboard. Great. Let me get our stuff. He disappeared into the kitchen, returning with my backpack in one hand and a satchel in the other. He passed it to me as he walked towards the front door. I had almost forgot this. Rifling through my bag, I found cat treats, Big Boob Face's collar, and a broken compass. And my phone. The battery is dead, though, of course. Still, that's one less thing to worry about. I checked through my bag once more, finding an empty water bottle. I frowned, distinctly remembering I forgot to pack water for my trip. Or at least, Michael told me I did. Didn't I? You ready? Oh. I looked up at Michael, startling when I spotted a large crossbow in his hands. He followed my gaze and shrugged, albeit with a nervous smile, like he'd been caught doing something he shouldn't be. He quickly strapped the weapon to his back and out of sight. Don't worry, I'm not going to use it unless necessary. I would hope not. He chuckled at my indignant tone. You think I'm going to let you out in the woods without guaranteeing your safety? I made a promise to get you home, so This is just an extra precaution. You don't think it's a bit much? Better safe than sorry, Firefly. He did have a point. If anyone knew these woods and the kind of danger it held, it'd be Michael. I glanced over at him, noticing he'd changed his oversized cardigan for something more outdoor appropriate. His eyes tracked mine, his shoulders stiffened as a tint spread across his face. So, shall we? He opened the door and waved me out. I stepped outside to glance around his front yard. The landscape wasn't anything special. It was actually left quite plain, just thick with trees and foliage. Only paths of dirt and flattened grass clued me in the routes Michael would use as he comes and goes, webbing in all directions trailing to the front door. Come to think of it, anyone passing through would be able to spot Michael's house if they squinted through the trees carefully enough. I guess he was right that nobody walked through this area in years. I heard a lock turn before Michael joined me by my side. He smiled wide before tipping his head in a direction, making sure I was behind him before he started walking. I was hesitant, but followed suit. It was quiet as we traveled, save for the sounds of nature calling out around us. Beautiful, beautiful. The weather was bright and warm, the sun casting pretty rays through the gaps in the trees. I had to admit, enjoyable it was. The bird calls and rustling of leaves as we walked somewhat brought bad memories. Ugh. Yesterday was miserable. I was lost, tired, and hungry. There was a chance I wasn't going to make it out alive. I watched Michael's back as he led the way, the man barely paying any mind to his surroundings. His ears would occasionally flick back in my direction, but overall he seemed confident on where to go. Having Michael as my guide home was definitely a great assurance. It made me even more grateful he'd found me when he did. I sighed and shook off the negative feelings, keeping pace while appreciating the fresh air. I stepped up next to my companion, willing my voice to speak after plenty of silence. This is actually kind of nice. A good old nature walk. I coughed into my fist, feeling embarrassed. I don't go outside as often as I should. Michael smiled kindly. I'm glad I get to bring you then. Yeah, it feels different when you know where you're going. Actually, where are we going? He sensed my nervousness and laughed. Don't worry. We're almost there. I looked up and saw it before he even pointed it out. Okay, what's it gonna be? It's gonna be like a waterfall or like a meadow or like I don't know, some like pristine landscape view, or I don't know. Those are my guesses. Oh, got it. A clearing in the distance, the trees grow strangely sparse in that area. Meadow. This is Twilight, guys. To no one watching this video. This is Twilight. I held my breath as I noticed the grass slowly starting to dot with flowers, dedicated blooms swaying here and there in the breeze. As we got closer, Michael watched me as my mouth dropped open, a knowing twinkle in his eyes. It was breathtaking. A secluded little meadow of flowers lit up my beams of light, making the scenery resemble a page from a forgotten fairy tale. Butterflies flitted about in pairs, their wings flickering and complementing the surreal yet enchanting ambience of the whole place. Michael let me gawk some more before walking ahead, turning to face me before sitting down to relax on the grass. He slipped off his satchel. I'm like, he was wearing sandals this whole time? He slipped off his satchel and laid it on the grass by his side along with his crossbow. I blinked out of my stupor and approached him, spinning around to drink everything in before plopping myself down next to him. So, what do you think? Pretty, isn't it? I nodded dumbly before finally glancing to face him, the man's gaze on me softening as our eyes met. A butterfly approached us rapidly, making me flinch on instinct. It landed on his finger as he held it out, its wings flapping gently. He smiled at the dainty creature, a fond look in his eyes before he held it out towards me. Do you like butterflies, Booby McBoobface? I love butterflies. I think they're okay. I'm scared of them, actually. IRL, I'm kind of freaked out by butterflies, but I don't... I'm going to say it. Michael's eyes widened, a look of guilt flashing across his face. He slowly lowered his hand, the butterfly menace still perched on his fingertip. Oh, no, this place has to be your worst nightmare. I'm sorry, we can leave right now if you want to. Okay, I kind of fucked it up. I inhaled a breath before shaking my head. I still want to be here. It's okay, Michael. I eyed the insect crawling on his finger, wings gently flapping. I leaned over to Michael slowly. Promise you'll keep them off me, though? Michael looked at me with a playful grin. I won't let a single wing-tip even brush you, Firefly. He sounded so determined I had to snort with laughter, forgetting my fears in an instant. Okay, so didn't matter anyways. The sun was at its peak now, the air getting warmer as minutes passed. The leafy canopy over us provided enough cover for us to not overheat. Michael picked a flower with his other hand and placed it in my palm, his tail looping loosely around us both as my cheeks darkened. He closed his eyes and leaned back further, the butterfly still resting on his hand. My ears caught a soft rumbling before I realized it was coming from his direction. I almost wanted to ask, oh my god, he's purring. I almost wanted to ask, but I didn't want to ruin the moment. My gaze dropped as I twirled the flower in my hand, holding the stem delicately. The gesture felt platonic, but also romantic. I wonder if Michael was even interested in relationships. He'd been alone most of his life. He'd probably get tired of my presence sooner or later. Before I could contemplate further, the butterfly on Michael's fingers took off, my gaze trailing after it as it left the sunlight and flew away into the woods. Which reminds me, Michael, don't get me wrong. This place is stunning, but is it okay if we go now? He straightened from his relaxed slouch. Why? We just got here. I chewed on my lip, hesitating. I love it here, I do, but I want to go home, Michael. Michael studied my face. Booby McBoobface. Do you want to leave me that badly? No. I need to recover from losing Big Boop Face. I know it's silly and dramatic, but knowing she won't be there when I get home. I trailed off, another shot of guilt and regret filling my chest. I just need to get it done with. I feel a hand rubbing my back, or is it his tail? Michael nodded slowly, looking me in the eyes. His smile was gentle. That's okay. I understand. But maybe this place can help with that. Okay. It's a nice spot to nap in, isn't it? I picked it out just for you. Why don't you go ahead and lie down? His words made you sway, a sudden bout of sleepiness weighing heavy over your eyelids. He was right. It is a nice place to nap. Why were you in such a hurry? You yawned, laying back to stretch on the grass. The warmth from the ground seeped through your clothes, lulling you into a sense of comfort and safety. There you go. Just spend some time with me. Just a bit more. Please. Oh. Here's something else I could show you. He reached into his satchel. He pulled out a wooden box. Okay, what's in the box? Is it a music box? Is it some blunts? Is it a treat? Is it... I'm like thinking some kind of little instrument is my gut reaction. He pulled out a wooden box. A kalimba. There. I fucking knew it. I blinked slowly, clarity coming back as I shook my head to pay attention. The box fit neatly in his hands, Michael holding it as if he were typing on a phone. I could see it had a hole in the middle with thin strips of metal arranged in a triangular shape over it. What does it do? A proud smirk spread across his face. I'll show you. He began to pluck at the metallic prongs, a gentle ringing sound resonating with every flick of his thumbs. Is this loud? I don't know. I couldn't recognize the song. He might have made it up himself. I closed my eyes, enjoying the tune. Michael gave a soft chuckle as he kept playing. Relax and listen as long as you'd like, Firefly. A few minutes passed by with Michael plucking away at the instrument, the two of us sunbathing like two cats on a Sunday afternoon. I must have dozed as the next thing I knew, I felt a nudge on my shoulder. Comfy? He chuckled low when I refused to open my eyes. I mean, if you'd rather stay. My eyes shot open, my whole body jerking to sit up. Michael glanced at me, kalimba in his lap, and a half forget-me-not chain in his hands. What? I shook my head, slapping at my cheeks. I can't believe I fell asleep. It's all right. He cut me off. His sigh was heavy. I was hoping, never mind. He patted my shoulder, though his smile didn't reach his eyes. Thanks for being here with me. Maybe we can do this again sometime. If I ever see you again. Let's get you home. He rolled over to his feet and stood up, brushing off dirt and fixing his satchel. Come on. We gathered our things and set off into the unknown once more. Well, unknown to me, at least. Michael seemed to have a map of this place ingrained in his brain. You seem a bit sleepy still, so let's freshen up, okay? We walked a bit further away from the clearing, coming across a river. Compared to the rest of the path we walked, the area was shaded considerably with the thick canopy of leaves over us. The flowing water looked inviting as I kneeled down by the bank, Michael idling close by. Ooh, sploosh. I dipped my hands in, eager to wash my face. The water was refreshing and cooled my heated skin in the afternoon sun. I pulled my hands back to see Michael peeking over my shoulder into my reflection, smiling with a faraway look on his face. He startled as our gazes met, irises darting away to look at himself instead. Immediately, his expression changed, his ears flattening, a grimace twisting his features as his lips curled back. I'd never seen such contempt in his eyes as I did then, staring at his own visage. He stepped away, retreating underneath the cover of a tree to lean against it with crossed arms. He doesn't notice me watching. I patted my hands dry on my shirt and approached him. You ready? Yeah. I stopped him before he could turn to leave. He looked at me with a questioning look, tipping his head. I hesitated. I wasn't the type to speak my mind directly. Most of the time, I keep things to myself and let things go by. But nobody should look at themselves and have just that sort of reaction. Hey, you're not, I might as well be frank. You're not a monster, Michael. He looked taken aback. What makes you say that? I saw how you were looking at yourself. How you talk about yourself. None of it's true. I keep telling you, you're more than just your appearance. I don't know what compelled me to do it, but I did it anyways. I reached for his hands and held them between us. His eyes widened at the contact. All it took was a day with you, and truthfully, I think you're the most amazing person I've ever met. He made a choked noise. I'm just some old nobody compared to you. That's not... Shut up and listen. He promptly shut his mouth with an audible click of his teeth. From where I stand, you saved my life. You taken care of me better than I could have ever asked from a stranger. That already proves to me you're not the monster you think you are. You're charming, you're smart, you're sweet. Oh my god, I hope he shows us the monster. You're a million more wonderful things, but you're not a monster. I take a second to compose myself, lowering my voice. You may look different, Michael, but guess what? His multiple eyes stared into mine, ears flattening as if fearing the worst. That makes you all the more beautiful to me. His breath hitched. I could feel his hands squeezing mine, fingers trembling. It was like he forgot how to breathe. I realized my hands were getting sweaty. I pulled away hastily, scratching at my neck and avoiding his gaze. I could feel the blood rush to my face. I could dunk my whole head in the river and it'd probably let off steam. Sorry, that came out of nowhere. I just didn't feel right if I didn't say anything. I hope you understand. An awkward silence passed between the two of us. Anyways, I caught him mumbling under his breath. I can't let you leave. What? I said, you can't leave. I mean, not without your cat, right? I frowned. I've already tried, Michael. Like you said, it was stupid for me to just wander off in the woods if I'd find her through dumb luck. He paused, his fist clenching. But I haven't. Huh? I haven't tried. I know these woods better than anyone. I can try looking for her. But that means you can't leave yet. Michael, I appreciate the offer, but I don't think I should stick around any longer. I have a job and responsibilities and you hissed in pain, a sudden migraine overcoming your senses. Ah! You felt sick, your stomach wringing itself into knots. It felt like the world was warping around you as your legs wobbled, your body buckling over as you resisted the urge to vomit. Ooh. Michael caught you as you slumped gracelessly to the ground, your head resting on his shoulder as he cradled you close. Hey, you don't look so good. Your vision doubled as he spoke, his speech oozing together words in an indecipherable mess. Are you okay? You need me to carry you home? Okay, no problem. Just hang in there. Hang on to me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You don't deserve this. If I could just one more day with you, I'd be the happiest man alive. Here we are. Let's get you tucked in. I should give you some clothes, especially since you'll be staying another night. You're okay with that, aren't you? I blinked groggily, awake to the gentle sound of a cracking fire, the itchy texture of a worn bedsheet, the weight of a heavy knit blanket. I could recall once or twice having felt these very sensations to the point I'd consider them familiar and comforting. And yet, nothing could prepare me for the bright yellow eyes peering into mine. Whoa. She's Macam. My knuckles hit him square in the face as Michael yelped, nose scrunching, as the taller man stumbled backwards into a stool. He landed on his rear with the grace of a clumsy toddler on the floor. I sat up in a panic and immediately grimaced, landing back on the bed with an unceremonious flop. It hit me in one fell swoop how my whole body was aching. Every single one of my limbs felt like they'd gone through a ringer and came out the other side all crinkled and wrong. I groaned aloud, leaning my head back on the pillow. Michael shifted back onto his feet, rubbing his nose. Booby McBoobface! His voice was an awkward croak before he cleared his throat. I'm glad you're awake. How are you feeling? Terrible. He visibly flinched. I'm sorry to hear that. He stepped closer to the bed, leaning over warily in case my hand dramatically whips out again in self-defense. With my hand settled in my lap, he deemed it safe enough to sit beside me. What happened, Michael? You don't remember? I shook my head, wincing a bit as my head pounded. Not at all. Michael hesitated. You, tripped. And hit your head. I had to carry you home. His words almost slurred together as he fidgeted. My head. I slowly lifted my hand to feel for bumps or bruises, but he hastily snatched my wrist. Don't worry about that. Here, have this. It'll help. Michael gave me a familiar-looking drink as he quickly pressed a cup into my hands. Sitting up with some effort to take a sip, I couldn't help but smell the sense of déjà vu. The amount of times I woke up in his bed, dazed and disoriented, is almost uncomfortable now. At least the drink was helping, just like he promised. My body felt lighter as I finished. Michael took the cup from me and set it aside before wringing his hands together with a nervousness I haven't seen in a while. So, I'm sorry this happened. I didn't mean for you to get hurt. I sighed and waved aside. What happened to, you're gonna protect me in the woods. Nothing's gonna happen to me. What happened to that, Michael? What happened to that? I sighed and waved aside his worry with an embarrassed grumble. Wouldn't be the first time I tripped, if you could believe it. It's not your fault. He gave a soft chuckle, but it sounded guilty. I suppose you're right. It's just his face looked like he had a million thoughts running through his head. I promised, didn't I? Yeah, you kind of did. I said I was gonna look out for you. I said I was gonna keep you safe. Instead, I made you hurt. His voice cracked. I'm so sorry, Booby McBoobface. The sudden change in demeanor was startling, to say the least. You couldn't have predicted it was gonna happen. And I'm fine, see? Oh, Firefly. I guess you're right. His expression carried a lingering doubt, but he quickly masked it with a small smile, his eyes dim. In that case, you'll be staying? The way he said it almost sounded like a decision that's already been made. Or a plea. What? What do you mean? His eyes darted aside. You agreed to let me find Big Boobface, remember? Did I say that? Yeah. So, you'll be staying a while longer, right? He didn't even let me get a word in. In fact, a feeling of uncertainty washed over me as if we had this conversation before. Oh my God. Besides, what's the rush? It's already late and you're no condition to travel anyways. I blinked before glancing out the window. Pitch black darkness greeted me as I realized he was right. Yet another uncanny feeling spread through my chest, shivers crawling down my spine. I don't know why, but something about this whole situation felt wrong. I feel like I'm forgetting something else. Michael had a nervous look on his face. Maybe you hit your head harder than you thought. His words didn't sound confident. How long was I out? Couple hours, I think? You really took a hit. It was that bad? My brows creased as I tried to recall today's events, but I don't remember tripping. There was a river. I remember you. And then your memory's a bit fuzzy, and for good reason. After all, my stomach rumbled suddenly, echoing in the quiet room. It's a heavy silence right after. Michael was polite enough to hide his chuckle under a palm as I flushed. He seemed relieved. Well, lucky for you, I've got dinner on the way. It should be ready soon. You're okay with soup, right? Soup? Soup sounds all right. My stomach growled once more, the pain of an empty gut making me wince a bit. My host noticed immediately. Oh, maybe we should get you some food sooner than later. Do you feel like okay enough to get up? I nodded with a grumble, swinging my legs over the side of the bed before noticing something was on my lap. Oh my God. Wait, what's this? Oh, I thought it was going to be the cat. No. He's got to find the cat. I unbundled the pile of thick fabric, realizing it was an oversized sweater with a pair of baggy sweatpants. A mushroom pattern? That's oddly cute. The material felt worn, but comfortable. A towel laid right next to them. Is this for me? Oh, I figured since you'll be staying on there, you want some fresh clothes. They might be a few sizes bigger. Or a lot. Sorry. He gotten shy for some reason. On the other hand, I didn't have to take a whiff at myself to know that I probably reek. I nodded again, giving him a small but grateful smile. They're fine, Michael. Thank you. Yet another thing I had to owe him. I couldn't help feeling like I'm taking advantage of his kindness now. Girl. So, you know where the bathroom is. Take your time cleaning up. I'll be in the kitchen if you need anything. I'm really happy you're here. He stood there for a good few seconds, fidgeting with his hands as if he wanted to say more before finally heading to the kitchen. I watched his back retreat before hoisting myself up and heading to the bathroom. Now that I was alone, I had a moment to gather my thoughts. The nagging feeling was back, a prickling feeling across my skin, raising goosebumps as if to tell me I shouldn't be here. I just couldn't place my finger on what. I should be careful. I was probably just being paranoid. Okay, I'm gonna be right back. Right back. Short break. Okay. No, I should definitely be careful. I just couldn't shake the feeling that Michael was hiding something. He'd been a gracious host so far, but that didn't make him the most trustworthy either. There's definitely something I'm missing. My mind was wandering even as I undressed and stepped under the shower. The icy chill of the water did nothing to distract me from my nerves. If anything, it elevated it. I was a shivering mess by the time I was done cleaning myself with whatever soap he had laying around. Once I dried myself, I inspected his clothes inside and out to see if there's anything off with them. They smelled like wet grass and burnt wood. Considering his lifestyle, it made sense for his clothes to have that sort of scent stuck to them, I suppose. Putting them on, it just reminded me how big and tall Michael was, compared to me at least. I fidgeted and fiddled with the sleeves and waistband until I could somewhat move comfortably. There's no mirror in his bathroom, so I had to assume I looked like a walking potato sack. Better than nothing. Gathering my courage, I shook out my hands and straightened myself before exiting towards the kitchen. A savory scent filled my nose. Michael did mention dinner was almost done. As I entered, I saw Michael by the stove, idly stirring something crimson in a pot and humming quietly to himself. His content smile widened as he saw me, his ears flicking. I tried not to look uneasy as he looked me up and down. Oh, how do they fit? They're all right. Much too big for me. He nodded, turning back to the pot. I can see that. Right. His smile flattered as he picked up on the wariness in my tone. Is everything all right? His eyes held a sense of worry, his shoulders tensing. I can get you something else to wear if you'd like. There's no need. He paused, hand gripping on the ladle tightly as he continued to hesitate. Booby make boob face. There's another pause before his brows furrowed. I'm not an idiot. You don't trust me, do you? I flinched. Michael looked hurt as he sighed. So I'm right. His ears flicked by the sides of his head as he turned back towards the stove. Can I just know why? His eyes were sad as he stared at the pot as if he'd been in this situation before. I thought I did everything right. Truthfully, I didn't expect such a direct confrontation. There's a lump in my throat as my fists clenched at my sides. It's just... The kettle started whistling, but he was clearly ignoring it. I swallowed down my growing anxiety and decided to be upfront. I just didn't expect to be here again. It felt like the wrong thing to say when Michael's frown deepened. So you never wanted to be here. I didn't mean it like that. Then how else could you possibly mean it? Okay. Another deep sigh slipped out of him as he reached to lift the kettle off the stove, mumbling to himself. I was hoping you'd be different, was I thinking. What'd you say? Nothing. Michael, His forlorn expression made my words feel thick on my tongue, forcing me to reluctantly swallow them back down. Any trace of suspicion I had faded and was replaced by a feeling of guilt. I'm sorry. I just thought I'd be home by now. I know. I'm sorry too. He lifted his gaze towards me, eyes full of regret. But Is it really so bad, Booby McBoobface? I know being lost in the woods with a man you don't know can be scary, but I promise you're safe. The last thing I'd ever want you to be is scared. He trailed off. So just trust me, okay? Can you do that? Can you do that, please? I swallowed and gave him a nod. My gut still roiled with suspicion. Every fiber of my being wary of him to a certain extent. He seemed satisfied, though, eager to move on past the tension. Thank you. His mouth quivered at the edges of all four of his eyes, squinting with the slightest bit of hope. Please let it be different for once. Why don't you take a seat, Firefly? I'll be right with you. He was already turning his back towards me to start preparing the tea. I slowly approached him. Hey, let me help this time. Michael startled, surprised to see me beside him. Oh, sure. What was that? Could you get some bowls ready? We're having tomato soup. Oh, do you want some grilled cheese with yours, or would you prefer garlic bread? Grilled cheese. Got it. I brushed past him, feeling his tail linger by my ankle as I grabbed the bowls and spoons from the bottom shelf. He started preparing the sides, the smell of toasted bread filling the kitchen and mingling with the soups. I took over preparing the tea. Finally, I ladled the soup from the pot into a larger bowl, just as Michael finished flipping the last piece. Yum! He settled in for a nice hot dinner. Regardless of how I felt about tomato soup, Michael's turned out rich and creamy with an amazing balance of sour and sweet. Dipping the bite-sized grilled cheese sandwiches made it taste like pure savory comfort, crisp and gooey. Even if I've never had it as a kid, it still made me feel nostalgic somehow. There's still a feeling of stilted awkwardness, but the food helped ease us both into a warmer, lighthearted conversation. I didn't realize how hungry I was until I refilled my bowl, Michael watching me with his chin propped in his hand. His own bowl sat empty. Apparently he'd already had his fill. Is tomato soup your favorite? His question was innocent. Those eyes were observing me carefully as I shrugged. I think I'd love anything you cook. He stilled, taking a second to process what I said. Oh, well, thank you. No, thank you. Usually I get takeout or microwave dinners. Nothing beats home-cooked food. What's a microwave? I snickered and tried to explain it the best I can. A metal box that heats up food. That sounds like, what's the word in those fantasy books? Magic? Am I using that word right? I laughed lightly. Sometimes science is just like that. We talked about other kitchen appliances off the top of my head, slowly branching out to other human inventions. Okay, he's been in the real world. He knows what stuff is. He seemed even more interested. I never understood how technology worked. Boy, you're freaking using technology. You have an oven. You built all this shit. It's all technology. I pulled out my phone and let him fiddle with it, though with the battery dead, there's not much I could show. He was clearly disappointed. It's about as useful as a brick. For now. Otherwise, I'd have a whole network of information in my hands. His eyes lit up. Like a library, and you can access it at any time as long as the battery is alive. You know what a battery is. As long as I have an internet connection. Right. Internet. I didn't know you could do that. I just see people staring at them all the time. It seemed boring. He looked at my phone again, a look of wonder on his face. Having a whole library in your hands, everyone must be really smart then. Well, not everyone uses it like a library, more like a messaging hub or a source of content consumption. His ear flickered as he stared at me with a blank smile. Consumption. You can eat it. You can eat it? Yeah, he has no clue what I'm talking about. How do I explain to him the very concept of Web 2.0? I cleared my throat, deciding that I simply won't. Maybe I can show you what I mean someday. His eyes brightened, seeming to like that idea a lot. You mean that? I can have some? Yeah, have a little bit of internet. Have a little bit of social media. I think it's about time you start getting a little more modern around here. No offense. Imagine what you could do with a generator. His smile widened just a tad, though there's still a cluelessness to his face that was just a little endearing. Generator. I laughed and reached across to pat his hand, a gesture that made his smile wobble. Like I said, I'll show you someday. A loud thwack sounded against the floorboards, followed by a rhythmic thudding. Leaning over, I could see the tip of his tail was wagging back and forth, the tip of it slapping against the floor almost comically. Michael looked flustered as he laughed softly, pulling his hand back to rub his neck. Sorry. He looked like he had more to say, but exhaled heavily, gathering himself before tilting his chin towards my empty bowl. Are you done? I nodded as he stood and collected our dirty dishes, heading towards the sink to wash them. I followed close behind, carrying the mugs. We made quick work of the dishes, heading back to the living room to relax. Michael headed to his basket of knitting materials, his movements routine. I wasn't sure what to do with myself. Now that food was no longer a distraction, I felt uneasy again, glancing around the room and staring at the window. Michael was eyeing me as he grabbed the stool and dragged it to the center of the room. Is there something outside? His question sounded innocent, but it had a sense of wariness to it. I shook my head quickly. Nothing. I was just... Something catches my eye from under the bed, glinting like a knife. Ah! Oh. Tilting my head lower, I could see it was a tin container the size of a shoebox. Oh my god. Drugs. What's that? Michael looked up. Under your bed. A panicked look came across his face. That thing? Just some emergency supplies? Yeah. Emergency. Yeah, nothing too special. I had an inkling he was being dishonest again, but I figured I'd leave it for another day. I see. Michael watched me for a moment or two before clearing his throat. Hey, Firefly? I've been meaning to ask. Do you remember what you said at the river? The river? Oh, where I tripped? I pursed my lips in thought. Not really. Everything feels fuzzy to me. He seemed disappointed. Oh, not even a little? I shook my head. Why? Did I say something stupid? Just some things. It made me happy. Oh god, I think I did say something stupid. Before I could ask about it, he already gestured toward the bed. Well, you should get some sleep, Firefly. Want to wake up nice and early to find big boob face, right? The idea of looking for my cat once more made me wilt. You really think we'll find her? Michael looked on edge, pocketing his hands. It doesn't hurt to try, but it does hurt to hope. His face twitched. Well, his ears flattened as he thought of something to say, clearly struggling. He finally opened his mouth to respond, his words slow and careful. I'm here for you. Thank you, Michael. He nodded, a strange mixture of polite happiness and hidden anxiety playing across his face. He's probably not used to another person sticking around this long, let alone someone going through a loss he could care less about. Maybe I've been enough of a burden to him. Actually, can you just send me home? His brows raised, his posture straightened in surprise. Are you sure? But what about Big Boob Face? Don't you want to see if we can find her? I'm sure. A look of apprehension crossed his face. But it's so soon. Big Boob Face could be out there. Michael, please. I can't think about her right now. I just want to go home. He fidgeted with the sleeves of his cardigan. But he looked like he had so much more to say, but whatever turmoil going on in his head was quickly swept behind a reassuring smile. Okay. Get some sleep, Firefly. You've been through a lot. He went to collect his blankets again, already arranging them in a nest like the night before. The words left my mouth before I could think twice. I can trust you, right? A flicker of surprise crossed Michael's face. Of course you can trust me. He didn't say anything else, as if that one line should be enough to convince me. And honestly, it was too late to start an interrogation that's only gonna end up in me feeling guilty for upsetting him. I got under the covers, facing the wall with my back towards him. I could hear him setting up his nest behind me. What was that? Am I seeing things? Before finally quieting down with a satisfied hum, I closed my eyes. The last thing I heard was the gentle crackling of the fireplace, accompanied by Michael's knitting needles clicking away in the dark. Before I knew it, I could hear birds chirping outside the window. The first thing I noticed was the fire must have been out, considering I couldn't hear the familiar pop and snap that came with the room's ambience. The second thing I realized was that the hand gently shaking my shoulder awake. Wake up, sleepyhead! I stirred, yawning as I sat up in my bed. Michael beamed, hand still on my shoulder. There you are. Had a good sleep? I mumbled incoherently. His smile widened into a grin as I blinked myself out of my woozy state. If I didn't know any better, he seemed to enjoy waking me up in the morning just to see my disgruntled expressions. Breakfast is ready. Wash up and meet me in the kitchen, all right? Give me a sec. He took that as my assent, humming in his response. Suddenly, his hand reached up to ruffle my hair, messing up my bed head further. Hey! He merely laughed at my indignant squawk before reminding me once more to get up, his steps already thudding toward the kitchen. Recovering after a moment, I stared at the wall and pondered my situation for a second as I made my way to the bathroom. This was the third day since I'd left my house. I'm missing work, missing my cat, and missing my sense of direction. I gotta get back to my life. Today. Quietly reminding myself of my goal, I padded to the bathroom, freshened up, and joined him in the kitchen. Michael was already seated, cutting into some pancakes. His smile was bright as I entered the kitchen. His tail flicked closer to my seat as I sat down. A similar stack of mouth-watering pancakes was placed across him, waiting for me to dig in. Though I couldn't bring myself to muster up an appetite with so many thoughts filling my head. He seemed to notice the look on my face, laughing nervously. You look serious. Something on your mind, Firefly? I picked up my fork, twiddling with it. I'm just worried about getting home. Michael faltered as he lifted a piece to his mouth. Oh, you're still thinking about that? He seemed annoyed, which was a first. Of course. I've been gone for 3 days. People probably think I've gone missing. His gaze lowered, almost grumbling. Is that so bad? What? Yeah, it's bad. Why do you sound like you don't even care? Michael frowned, looking up at me now. Why do you sound like you're desperate to leave? What? It's all you ever think about. Are you not happy here? Is it not enough? I sighed, rubbing my fingers over my eyes. Michael, we've gone over this. I've said it once and I'll say it again. You've done so much for me already, but I can't keep pretending everything's okay here. I want to go home. I need to go home. He sucked in a deep breath, grunting something indecipherable under his breath. I only wanted to. He seemed to be battling himself before he finally sighed. I'm sorry. You're right. Of course you're right. His tone seemed genuine, even if the hurt in his eyes was clear as day. I'll send you back today. I narrowed my eyes. I mean it this time. I promise. He held his hand over his chest. I swear on my heart. Don't trust him. My eyes narrowed just a tad. Could I really trust his word? Did I have another choice? Will you tell me what happened yesterday at the river? The river? I already told you what happened at the river. His voice sounded strained at the end. So, that's it then. You're just gonna send me home. He nodded. Okay. I paused for a moment before adding quickly, thank you. He nodded and went back to eating, watching me expectantly as he took a timid bite. It was a moment before he swallowed and spoke again. Can you promise me something? His voice was quiet, for a lack of a better word, vulnerable. What is it? Promise me. His mouth hung open for a second or two before he laughed. Promise you weren't lying when you said you liked my cooking. I snorted. Are you kidding? Do I look like a kind of person to lie? I'm offended, Michael. He laughed again, light and airy. But if I dared to look closer, I could tell it was fake. He probably didn't want to make our last moments tense and awkward. The least I could do was meet him halfway. Before long, we found ourselves walking down another path from Michael's. The route was different today, probably because he didn't have any detours in mind. We walked in silence for a while. The only thing accompanying us were the sounds of nature and our footsteps. I couldn't tell what Michael was thinking. I knew he wasn't the talkative type unless spoken to, but right now he seemed eerily quiet. His back was tense, his eyes looking nowhere but forward. My voice was itching to say something, anything. But it felt like the both of us had some thoughts to digest, despite it being easier to just say it out loud. Still, the silence was getting unbearable. So, we both halted in our steps at the sound of rustling. Michael's ears perking in a direction. Sorry. What was that? His hands were already raising to hold his crossbow, deftly cocking it with an experienced pull of the string until a solid click was heard. Stay quiet. Stay close. I swallowed, my heart picking up speed. He started stalking low towards the source of the noise, his boots barely making a sound compared to my clumsy footsteps. The rustling continued, sounding like a scuffle was occurring between the bushes. Closer, closer, until my ears picked up an unfamiliar high-pitched sound. It sounded like a tiny infant screaming. As morbid as that was, Michael actually relaxed as he recognized it. His steps hastened silently towards the source, crossbow lowering until we came across what exactly it was that caused the disturbance. Aww. A bunny. A wabbit. Its small, delicate foot snagged in an old rusted trap. Its little body trembled as it breathed fast and shallow, no doubt scared out of its mind. Michael regarded it empathetically before unloading his crossbow, disturbed by the caught rabbit, but at the same time relieved at the absence of a threat. Just a rabbit. Sweeping his crossbow behind his back and out of sight, he looked at it for another moment before looking up towards me. Let's keep going then. My mouth dropped in shock. And leave that poor thing behind? He raised a brow, confused at my bewilderment. Yeah? But it's gonna die. His face twisted in confusion. That's generally what happens to prey animals, yes? He was so nonchalant about it, I had to keep my emotions in check. We can't do that. Look at it. His expression was understanding, if a little annoyed. I am. Someone left a trap. A rabbit gets caught in it. That's how it works. What do you want me to do? Set it free? Obviously. He was frowning now. I can't. If someone is nearby, they'll be suspicious how their catch got free. Does that matter? Animals escape traps all the time. The poor thing is suffering. Booby McBoobface, I know you're smarter than this. If it doesn't die today, it'll die tomorrow. To a trap, to a fox, to a hunter. It probably won't even survive long with its injured foot if we set it free. You're prolonging the inevitable. Can't you put it out of its misery then? He hesitated. Do you really want me to do that? No. But even then, we don't even know if anybody's coming back for it. The thing looks so old. He sighed impatiently, looking stubborn in his decision. That's the point of a trap. It's to keep things right where they are until you come back. The way he said it just rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, he is being realistic, and like, he probably set the trap though. He said he hunted. He eats meat. He probably caught the cat. He has the cat. He has the cat. In a way, his logic made sense, but still, I could hardly believe how needlessly callous he was being. For someone so sweet, with his hands, he was so indifferent about the poor rabbit shaking at our feet. It's just like her. She was caught in his trap. Oh no, maybe I did the wrong thing about agreeing with him. 'Cause now I'm trapped forever. I looked down at it once more, my heart breaking as it started to squeak. Michael. My heart was torn as the rabbit helplessly kicked its feet, its cries weakening. For a moment, I imagined Big Boob Face being caught in a trap just like this one, left to starve and die when someone could have been there to help her. No, we can't leave it like this. Please, Michael. His harsh gaze started to soften at my plea. Does it matter that much to you, Firefly? I nodded quickly without hesitation. Please. It'll be the last time I ever ask for anything. He paused for another moment before shaking his head with a defeated sigh. Somehow I doubt it's the last time. There was a smile in his voice, though. But all right. I'll do it for you. Stand back. I have to pry it open. My gratitude was clear on my face as he pulled out a deadly-looking hunting knife from his pocket, kneeling down next to the rabbit. The terrified creature started to writhe all over again at the sight of a looming threat, Michael grunting as he held it down firmly with one hand. It started to fall still under his hold, relaxing completely with its foot hanging limp. Huh? He sure had a way with animals. I backed away to give him space, not wanting to distract him. As he was working to free the rabbit, I looked around to take in my surroundings. The trees felt somewhat familiar, a flash of a memory playing in my mind. Casting one last glance towards Michael's back, I wandered a bit further away, making sure to stay within earshot. It took a few steps before I came across a familiar sight. Oh! It was a circle of mushrooms from the other day. I recalled that Big Boob Face was definitely here. I hesitated at the edge of it, a sourceless sense of fear suddenly coursing through me as I stared at it. Had it grown bigger? The longer I stood there, the more the fear dissipated, my limbs tingling pleasantly and urging me forward. Before I realized, my foot was already lifting to approach it. Closer. Closer. Staring at it, a fuzzy haze creeped over my mind. My face was warm. I found myself smiling at the oddly comforting familiarity, like recalling a fond memory, like greeting an old friend. I knelt down to inspect the growth, reaching out to brush my hand on one of the mushroom caps. Someone yanked my wrist back. What? Don't. Huh? Don't touch those. I looked up to see Michael looming over me, gaze sharp and irises shaped like thin slivers. You have a terrible habit of wandering off, don't you? I gulped. I just... How is the rabbit? Is it safe? His eyes narrowed as I flailed to change the subject. It's free, like you asked. Don't touch those. Michael squeezed my wrist before letting go. I rubbed my wrist. It didn't hurt, but his grip had intent. But why? What's wrong with them? Nothing. It's his trap. Just don't touch them. I just thought it looked pretty, that's all. Did you, though? I shook my head, feeling disoriented as my mind flickered between thoughts rapidly like a broken radio station. Michael snapped his fingers for my attention. Look at me, Firefly. His voice was snippy and irritated. I blinked rapidly to ground myself, scratching my head as I tried to gather my thoughts. Talk to me. Say anything. Some people think they're magic. Yeah, that's a pretty common belief with mushroom rings, isn't it? I hung on to that thought. Keep going. Like
related to fae folk, you know? It's why they're called fairy rings or a fairy circle. Michael squinted before easing his demeanor just a little less tense compared to before. They do look like they could summon a portal any moment and whisk you away. I looked over at Michael, expecting him to look amused. Instead, he was glaring down at the ground as if the mushrooms were the most vile thing he'd ever seen. No, it's more of an invasive species than anything else. I followed his gaze towards the harmless circle of fungus. They are? Should we do something about it? He blinked as if coming out of a daze. No. Sorry, just a thought that slipped out. He pinched his nose bridge, his normally soft voice a tired grumble. Normally, I'd leave them alone to do their business, but having you here... anyways, just don't touch it, okay? He was being far too uptight about something as trivial as a circle of mushrooms. It feels like there's more to it than that. His sigh was exasperated. They just grew in my part of the forest, is all. Huh? They make me uncomfortable. It definitely felt like Michael wanted to use a stronger word than uncomfortable. A barely concealed growl between his teeth. Man. Why? I thought you liked mushrooms. You are a mushroom. Michael's ears flattened. Not these ones. They're not even real mushrooms. They're not? Oh my god. No. He seemed to hesitate before blurting, they just happen to mimic mushrooms. Oh. I've never heard of something like that. Though there are some pretty wild foliage out there that could copy the look of nearby plants. Does it have a name? His brows scrunched in confusion. What? Them? Yeah. You know, as in the species? Oh. I'm not entirely sure. I can recognize them by sight though, so just stick with me when we're in the woods, okay? I really don't want you anywhere near them. Alright, if you say so. I just don't get how they can be invasive is all. I consider it invasive when they come on my property. Is he really getting this angry over cute mushrooms? I'm gonna be honest with you, you're acting really weird about it, Michael. He was getting more agitated the longer we stood there, hands clenching into tight fists. Booby, make boob face. I know I ask a lot from you, but please, let's just leave them alone, okay? Why? There's something you're not telling me. Look, can we just... I flinched back, away from him as his voice rang through the trees. A silence passed between us before he took a deep breath. I'm sorry. Please, can we step away from here? He held out his hand. His fingers were trembling. I'm not gonna take his hand. I'm being that bitch. I shake my head. He looks dejected, but nevertheless accepted it with a gentle nod of his head. I'm really sorry for scaring you, Firefly. Are you okay? I'm fine. But don't ever yell at me like that ever again. His ears drooped, expression full of regret. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let's get you home. Let's get me home. Michael took the lead, his footing sure and confident. He must have noticed my unsteady gait beside him, as he suddenly veered towards a clearer path I could easily follow. I didn't verbalize it, but I was definitely grateful for that. As much as the forest was growing on me, getting my feet caught in roots and twigs every few steps gets tiring after a while. Our steps fell into rhythm next to each other. I peeked at Michael every once in a while, trying to gauge his mood after what happened. Ever after spending so much time with him, he was so difficult to read. How can someone both wear their heart on their sleeve, yet keep it stitched tight, never letting anyone come too close? I knew he had secrets he wanted to keep close to his chest, but I wished he'd just open up to me a little. The silence that hung in the air was making my skin prickle. What's your favorite animal? I was so caught up in my thoughts I didn't even realize I blurted the first thing that came to my mind. Michael regarded me curiously, ear flicking. My favorite animal? He pursed his lips in thought before his ears perked. Jellyfish. I did a double take. It was one thing for him to have an answer so readily, but the choice was something else. A jelly? Why jellyfish? I thought it'd be like, I don't know, a bird or something? He shrugged. They're pretty to look at least from pictures I've seen. Plus, I kind of relate to them. He said that with zero hesitation. How exactly do you relate to a jellyfish? His expression faltered, as if deciding on the right way he could explain his answer. Let's just say, I have something in common. What does he have in common with a jellyfish? No bones. With a jellyfish? Well, one jellyfish. In what way? That they're pretty to look at? A strange noise slipped past his throat. No. You wouldn't get it. Try me. You have to piss on... Oh, why am I clipping? Because I said piss? Why am I clipping? Is my audio... Oh my god, I do not understand audio levels. I cannot get it. Alright, okay. I'll talk here. No. I groaned like a dying whale in exasperation. Shoulders slumped like I had a back problem. He's not gonna elaborate anymore, is he? He's probably spotted the vein growing on my forehead as he snickered. Relax, Firefly. You're gonna faint on the spot if you think any harder. If you're allowed to get upset about mushrooms, I'm allowed to get upset about jellyfish. His smile dropped for a second before his cheeky grin returned. Touch. Touch? Touch what? You know, touch. I stared at him, his happy grin shifting into a confused frown. You know, touch. When, it's like saying you're right. Huh? You mean touche? He smiled innocently. Yeah. This man will be the death of me. He laughed, and my screwed up grimace, waving a hand hastily. What about you? What's your favorite animal? My fucking cat, boy. He snorted, a fond smile on his lips. You know what? I don't even know why I bothered asking. Of course it's cats. What's that supposed to mean? He gave me a look. You know what I mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. He pretty much giggled in response. We continued idle chatter after that. I didn't even know how much time had passed as the trees slowly thinned out, the sounds of nature muffling as the canopy started to grow scarce. Suddenly, I heard the soft yet familiar rumble of cars in the distance. I almost didn't pick up on it, fully immersed in whatever Michael was rambling about. Something about the life cycle of a topsy-turvy dorney or whatever it was called. He called it. Oh. Had we really walked that far already? I left Michael's side and rushed forward. He made a sound of surprise, but I followed suit. I neared the edge of the forest just as another car drove past. Ah! I recognized my street instantly. This looks like where I live. Just copy-pasted houses. Breaking into a light jog, I almost missed Michael calling for my name as I ran down the road. There! My house was visible from where I stood by the street. I was breathing heavily by the time Michael approached my side, the man barely making a sound as I took in the sight. Oh, I missed this. I turned to thank Michael, only to startle when a bundled stranger took his place. Oh, ha! Ah, he looks like Ramona Flowers. Sorry. People about. I couldn't see anyone around, but I guess he was right to be safe. I guess this was his version of a disguise. If I were to pass him on the street, I don't think I would have bothered to look twice. I shuffled my feet, feeling awkward now about my previous apprehension. I might have had my doubts about him, but maybe I was wrong after all. He did get me home despite everything. I mean, I'd want to say thank you to your face, but I'll settle for this, I guess. His chuckle was muffled underneath the scarf. He pulled it down so he could speak properly. Did I scare you? I got distracted. Michael's eyes squinted from where I could see them, and I wonder how you don't get lost every 20 steps. Hey, he laughed at my offended tone. You better not go back in there, got it? I'm not always going to be around to find you. Who says I need you around to find me? Almost instantly, his eyes hardened under his sunglasses. I'm serious. Don't go wandering in those woods again. Or I might have to start taking drastic measures just to make sure you stay put right where you are. I sputtered indignantly. I'll wander where I please. Sure. He looked over my shoulder towards my house. So that's where you live, huh? Looks cozy. I wasn't sure if he was being genuine, considering he lived in the wooden back ends of the middle of nowhere. Suddenly I perked up with a thought. A small part of me couldn't help insisting it was a bad idea, but I was too curious not to ask. Do you want to come by? His eyes darted towards me, shock evident on his face. Me? To your home? I nodded. He froze completely. For a second I thought he stopped breathing. I'd love to. Sudden barking and a shout startled us both. My body jerked forward as his arm yanked me close. I heard a soft rustle as his sunglasses fell to the grass from the sudden motion, his hastily worn beanie shaken off his head. Looking up, it was just my neighbor calling out to their dog. Oh. Looks like Vita's back from college. I paused, feeling his grip tighten. I looked down at his hands on my shoulder before glancing up at him. Michael? He snapped back to the present, his hand releasing me quickly. Sorry. He looked towards my neighbor and their dog for another moment before turning back to me. I don't think it's a good idea for me to go with you. Oh, I don't want to be seen. Oh, so convenient. Even though I didn't fully trust him, I still felt disappointed at his rejection. I deflated just a little. But you have your disguise, don't you? He shook his head insistently. I can't risk it. It's better this way. He spoke with a finality that was starting to become familiar. If he wasn't willing, fine. At least I was. Before I could pick up his accessories, I gently grabbed his wrist. Though I couldn't help feeling like he had one too many secrets to keep, it wouldn't hurt to get to know him more and figure them out. Then can I come visit you instead? What? I huffed impatiently. If you won't come to mine, then I'll go to yours. Once again, he was rendered speechless. But why would you ever want to see me again? At this point, I was starting to look and sound peeved. For all his good traits, the constant need to build his walls higher around me was starting to get annoying. I folded my arms looking stern. His eyes widened as if in preparation, ears flattening like a cat in the middle of scolding. Michael, can you just accept the fact that maybe I enjoy your company and wouldn't mind more? I'm sorry, nobody's ever, but you wanted to go home so badly. Oh, this man is hopeless. Yes, of course I do. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna forget about you completely. Besides, I promised I'd show you what phones could do, didn't I? Dismissing the fact that there's probably not much I can show when there's no data in the woods. I'm sure he'd be enthralled by whatever dinky mobile game I had installed at the time. The point was, I just wanted to see him again. So that means I get to see you again? I picked up on his eager tone in his voice, realizing he wished for the same sentiment. Yeah, I want to. His voice warbled for a second. Firefly? He cleared his throat, laughing to himself. Booby McBoob face. You can't imagine how much that means to me. A lot. It means a lot. More than you know. I nodded, a giddy smile creeping on my own face. How's next weekend? He tilted his head. That's 7 sundowns from now. 5. His smile widened, eyes squinting in absolute delight. Okay. I'll meet you here then. I smiled at him, figuring this was goodbye. I wasn't my best self in the last few hours spent with Michael, being closed off the moment he held back information. But maybe a simple gesture can make up for it. I don't know, man. It's a trap. I'm gonna hug him, though. I didn't think twice. arms spread and wrapped around him before he could react. Michael froze from head to toe, inhaling sharply as his shoulders tensed. For a second, I thought I'd triggered a fight or flight or freeze response. It took a few seconds before he shifted to reciprocate, lightly placing his hands on the small of my back in a loose hold, fingertips splayed awkwardly along my spine. He seemed to gain confidence as he wrapped his arms around me properly and shaking... Oh, he's purring again, of course. A shaking sigh leaving his body as he relaxed. A faint rhythmic rumble emitted from his chest, my eyes widening at the strange feeling. Was he purring? I knew I'd heard that sound before, but he was definitely purring. I didn't have time to dwell on it for long. This is some furry shit. His grip was getting tighter. Tighter! Tighter! I was about to splutter when another car passing made him jump and release me. I had to step away to catch my breath after the squeeze. His arms dropped to his sides with a blank stare in my direction. Oh. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see his hands clenching tightly as if holding himself back. I looked up at him, expecting him to say something first. Instead, he just stared at me like I grew a third eye. I quickly cleared my throat, cheeks starting to burn. Anyways, I gave him one last light punch to the shoulder. It felt like punching a sack of grains. I knew it. No bones. I'll see you next weekend. Ignoring the heat on my face, I looked both ways before jogging across the street. My neighbor in their yard looked up as I approached, their eyes lighting up in recognition. Booby McBoobface? Sorry, just having like a moment here looking at the... Sorry. Vita. Okay, anyways. Their hands fidgeting with the frisbee in their hand as they approached their ever loyal Leica, following close behind. I was wondering where you've been. I dropped by to give you some cake over the weekend, but you weren't home and you didn't answer your phone and your packages were piling up at the door. And how many packages is she ordering? I held my hand up in a placating gesture, in a gesture. Vita, I'm fine. At our feet, Leica was dutifully pawing at their elbow to calm them down. Their mouth stopped midway through another sentence, blinking rapidly. Ah, sorry. They reached down to pat Leica's head, significantly calmer, as they asked me again. Where were you? Where have you been? I was, visiting a friend for a digital detox. Off the grid and all that. They blinked slowly, nodding. Oh, that sounds exciting. By the tone of their voice, they didn't mean that at all. Oh, what about Big Boo Face? Did you manage to find her? My mood instantly dropped. No. It's why I went away in the first place, you could say. It took a few seconds for Vita to understand what I meant. Oh, I'm sorry. It's fine. They straightened, a flash of empathy on their face before they smiled. Well, Like and I are around for the semester break if you need anything. We should do a movie night. Maybe that'll lift your spirits. I found this really good one I think you'll like. I did some research and I feel like it's right up your alley. Like and I could take a quick drive to the store so just let us know when you're up for it. I could get your favorite snacks and stuff. Leica gave a happy bark at the familiar word. A fond smile quirked at my lips. Thank you, Vita. I'll bring the orange soda. Their expression lit up happily. Take care. I bid them both goodbye to walk up my driveway. Once I got to my door, I had an urge to turn around one last time. Ew, spooky. I was surprised to see Michael still standing in the forest edge, shadowed by the trees. Our eyes made contact, his own a fierce, piercing yellow shining against the shade. I gave him a big wave. It took a moment, but he waved back. Smiling to myself, I unlocked the front door and let myself inside. It was surreal standing in my doorway again. I felt like Alice, who just woke up at the end of the book, feeling like I'd dreamed of Wonderland. I tossed my keys and my backpack by the hall, carelessly, before plugging my phone into the charger. I dreaded playing catch-up with the people who might have tried to reach me during my absence. Work, family, friends. It groaned aloud, flopping onto the living room couch. Ah, well, at least I had this weekend to look forward to. That's all from day 3 of Mushroom Oasis demo. More updates coming in the future. Tell me what you think of the game. Thank you for playing. Okay, so what did I fucking think of this fucking game? I thought it was gonna be spooky. Like, it was just like what's gonna happen next, you know? If not for like a big spooky. I guess more secrets could be unlocked, but it's like, I guess this is me learning the visual novel format. Is like, maybe it doesn't have to have like a thing. It's just like a story, you know? Mushroom Oasis demo. It's so cute. And it had nice sounds. What's the takeaway here? What's the point of this, I guess? It's cute. I definitely thought it was going to be like an edgy game though. But nonetheless, I had a time. And I'm going to play Fortnite. Oh yeah, baby.